I suggest it is that same karanga that has brought us together this evening, with the help of the British Council, of course, with the encouragement of Auckland City and all of you here. Nō reira, o tēnei te mihi o te tehi o ngā maramara I te waka o Tainui, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā rā tātou katoa.
The poetry of the same man vanishes into nothingness before that of the inspired madman. Whereas the natural function of Plato's wing is to soar, I cry for a beating of the air which rushes like a drug exhalation and a subsequent gasp. And in that cycle of vacuum and pressure made sonic, may we behold the truth, and may the truth also be in the wing, and the truth in the soaring, and the truth in these very words, or may none of these be true. May all truths be on sale at the local pharmacy.
And a very big welcome to all of you to this event, a British Council event, Diversity Through Public Art, a gathering of minds.
I think that we need to be thinking about diversity very differently than we do now. We tend to think that diversity is a list of characteristics. I happen to have quite a few of those characteristics. Like I happen to be disabled and I happen to be gay. I was vegetarian, but I started eating meat again. I think we have to think beyond that. I think we have to realise that we are all in the diversity box and we all swim around in it. And we happen to, every now and then, end up in parts of that box that some people don't think is quite as cool to be part of as being in that end of the box. And we need to think about that in society in general. I think public art is a way of taking away the judgments that we have around diversity. It's a way of showing our experience, which is a combination of unique and common experience, and saying, hey, this is it, this is who we are. How do we deal with that?
I don't want to consider diversity as number of choices we have, but rather everybody deciding and becoming confident about their choice. And they make a sculpture based on the ingredients you choose, and you crystallizes it. And that's what I call diversity. It's not so much about number, but it's that decisiveness. So everybody is doing that, and I think as an artist, I just try to dig in more. So I'll make it clear to me, I'll make a confident choice about what I'm gonna mix it up, and then I make things, and by the time it crystallizes, it's already in public. And that could be in public space, that could be in the art world, that could be in a conversation with one mathematician. It doesn't really matter.
We find working in galleries very, very difficult because...
I'm sure you do.
Because you have to know that the show is on, you have to be a particular type of person, you have to think about art in a particular way, and the whole encounter with the object or with the performance is completely mediated. You go with an expectation with it, which is the art expectation. You know, you want to find something that you've read about in a book, while I think what we find most interesting, it doesn't come under the umbrella of what is canonized art, but it's just an experience that pulls you out of your life and allows you to see something from another point of view.
As an artist, as a practicing artist, I have two types of practice. I have an art practice, which is my art, and I have an art practice called a advocative practice, where I actually make art with communities. And a lot of the communities, like the first performance that you saw was EPAC, Chinese Dragon Dancers, and the Otahuhu and District Pipe Band. Like, nobody gives a fuck who they are. But I do. I do, because I have a certain advantage towards Kiwis, because I'm an outsider, and I come from a lower socioeconomic developing island nation such as Samoa. When I come to New Zealand, when all these other Pacific artists talk about New Zealand being this myth about the land of milk and honey and land of opportunities, for me, it's true for me, because I make my life how it wanted to happen.
Social diversity is something we don't speak very much about here in New Zealand. And actually that's a bit far bigger issue than racial diversity. Look here, there's a crowd, we have all kinds of colors and so on, in the panel, out there, in here. And we're all united by our kind of middle classness.
You know what's really funny? Because like when my performance took place next to the Auckland Art Gallery, and I had a meeting with the dude that was looking after all the public programs on a Sunday. And then, you know, like on Lawn Street, like on the ground floor, there's like the Auckland Art Gallery bar, that's where all the function takes place. I was supposed to use that room for all my participants to go get changed and stuff. And during my meeting with the people, with this person at the Auckland Art Gallery, oh, well, you know, you can always come and use this room because, you know, you can, you know, and, you know, make sure you kind of, you know, lock yourself up, you know, after when you leave and stuff, because, you know, you sometimes, you know, have the street riffraff, you know, hanging around these sort of streets. And I just turned around and said, well, you know what? That's actually my audience. That's actually my audience.
I mean, actually,
so it really depends, like, sorry, Pontus, but it really depends, like, it's up to the artist to bring in their meaning of diversity.
And I would welcome anyone who has really a good idea of how to work with issues of homelessness, for instance, without patronizing the homeless.
I'm living in New York now, and my collaborator Arturo, sitting over there, is born and raised in New York. And there's this, well, I'm not just going on this topic, but there's one homeless guy that I think he lived there since you're born. He is walking around with hundreds of plastic bags, and he particularly chooses black color, and he carries all those tens of bags with him. And there are many people living on the street, but he really catches my eyes. And I talk to some other people, they know. So somehow, you know, there's certain choices people make is really loud, and in whatever form. It could be art, it could be somebody who's not thinking about art, but there's all these loud things. What was the question? The future. Yeah. So future is bubbling up in a very unexpected place, and I don't even think about art per se, or homeless person per se, or scientist per se, and I think we just have to turn on every senses and catch where future is.